Oh, today is Wednesday, March 15th, 16th, 2022. It's very hard to pronounce 2022, okay? Somehow. I'm about to go to work in 20 minutes time, but I still found some time to read an English article for my daily English reading effort. It's purely academic effort to practice English. I have no grudge against other people violating their copyright. This article is about Korea's demographic cliff edge. Every expat in Korea, Terry Kim, that's group on Facebook, Every Expat in Korea, Terry Kim, December 6th, 2021. Jocelyn Clark and I have been quoted in the Times Higher Education article, Welcome Foreigners to Avoid Demographic Cliff Edge, Korea told. December 6th, 2021. Welcome foreigners to avoid the demographic cliff edge. I agree. South Korean universities must work harder to attract overseas academics if they are to mitigate a looming demographic cliff edge, scholars have said. The country is popular with international students, but it has few lecturers from abroad, something that will need to change if this is to avoid slipping behind its peers on research performance. The issue is coming to a head as a generation of older Koreans, including professors, prepare to retire in coming years. But currently, internationalization is little more than a box ticking exercise for many Korean institutions, said Terry Kim, academic visitor at St. Anthony's College, Oxford. If you are non Korean and an international scholar who wants to work in a Korean university and develop your career, there is a barrier, Professor Kim said. While tenure track academics positions finally become legally open to foreigners in 2007, it remains very rare for overseas scholars to be employed on the tenure track academic positions. Tenure track academic positions. John Jackson. Interculturality, which goes beyond a mere tolerance of other, should be an ultimate goal of internationalization in Korean universities, Professor Kim said. Even for those rare international scholars who stay long term at Korean universities, the feeling of being an outsider often persists. Jocelyn Clark is a professor of Eastern Studies at Pachai University, which maybe Beijing University, Pai Chai. This I don't know. Sounds like a Thai name or even Chinese name. Pai Chai University. In Chinese, the Beijing University should pronounce Beijie University, Beijie, who has been teaching in the country for more than a decade. Nevertheless, she said, as a non-Korean faculty member, her work is often lonely and alienating. Although she speaks and lectures in Korean, Professor Clark said she had been excluded by her peers, she is not invited to faculty meetings, and she is left out of social gatherings. Usually when you come in as Korean faculty member, They introduce you to each other. The faculty who came in the same year as you make a club, go out dining and drinking, she said. As a foreigner, you are just not included. Another international scholar whom Professor Kim spoke with in her research described his experience as a faculty member at a Korean university as an extremely lucrative dead-end job. Dead-end job. For Korean academics, their respected status and good pay has made them very complacent. They are not anxious about the status of Korean universities, said Professor Kim. Complacent, very complacent, very complacent, very complacent. Internationalization was too often a numbers game. Meant to give a facade of diversity, Professor Kim said, an approach that frequently led to short-term and celebrity hires, such as Nobel laureates, who garner publicity but tend to offer little in the way of truly bridging cultural barriers and sprung long-term change at their institutions. Even as academia in the US and the UK turns its focus to equal opportunities and university, in Korea there is no such debate. She said, if you are not Korean, there's disadvantage. Paula.lam at timeshighereducation.com. Welcome foreigners to avoid demographic cliff edge, Korea told. Demographic cliff edge, complacent, feeling complacent, a facade of diversity, little. They contribute little. Complacent, diversity, make a club, go out dining, and have fun. Make a club. Demographic cliff edge. What else? Looming demographic cliff edge. I have been quoted in the Times Higher Education. Higher Education article. Attract overseas academics. Tenure track academics positions. Tenure track academic positions. Tenure track. Interculturality. Stay long term. Work. Excluded faculty member. Anxious, looming demographic cliff and edge. Give a facade of diversity. Celebrity hires. Complacent. This isn't just an issue in academics. This is from Benjamin William Slater. I think I've saw several posts by him before. This isn't just an issue in academics. It's literally everywhere in the country. Try using any service that isn't specifically designed for foreigners with a non-native ID number. Try using a name that is more than 3, maybe 5 character blocks. It goes on and on. Even if you speak Korean on any level, there are so many roadblocks. And don't get me started on the whole that is a little difficult mentality. Don't get me started on the whole that is a little difficult mentality. Benjamin Slade, please understand our unique situation. I recently went to check out a new house to move into. The real estate agent let out a quiet sigh when I walked in, but she showed me the place anyway. I liked it and wanted to move in, but wanted to see if the key money rent could be adjusted. The agent called the owner, and I had to sit there and listen to it. She said I was a foreigner. Then apparently the owner asked if I was a man or a woman and which country I was from. During the whole conversation, I guess, the agent had a scowl on her face and a sound of disdain. She made no attempt to play me up, talk about how I could speak some Korean, nothing. Lo and behold, they said I couldn't move in. Welcome to Korea 12 years in. Sorry to hear that sad story. Scowl. The agent had a scowl on her face. The agent had a scowl on her face. The agent had a scowl on her face. A sound of disdain. A sound of disdain. A sound of disdain. Convo, the whole convo. A sound of disdain. Scowl. Tyler Hilbert or Hilden, Ruben Tamaklo. I can relate. I had a similar experience. I found a nice place on that I really liked. I showed interest in this place knowing that it was open to all sexes. As usual, the real estate agent called the owner in front of me. The owner, upon hearing that I'm a foreigner, and upon asking where I come from, concluded that I could not move in because the place all of a sudden was now reserved for ladies. How on earth would I, being male, want to rent a room in a building allocated for only females? I'm still trying to figure that out. It was really interesting. Exactly the same happened to me. I had the papers ready to sign and everything, as the owner hadn't been answering his phone. Finally, as we were about to sign and transfer the key money, owner calls agent and says to foreigners. Agent in this case apologized to me and called owner a bad man. But Korea has no anti-discrimination laws. I was about a decade into Korea at that time. Thanks for listening. That's it for today.